But I guess we should start off first and just get it out of the way, Chris. The slap.
Yes, please. We had the unfortunate of being on last because considering it happened the day after when did the Oscars come on? Sunday?
Yeah, it came on Sunday, so it was the day
Yeah,
after our
so
show.
correct. So we've been gone through 6 days worth of takes, and it's just to the point. Look, I walked into work on Monday, and these people are people who don't really pay attention to anything like hip hop related rap culture shit like that. But clearly, it's the Oscars, right? Hey, did you see Will Smith slap Chris Rock? I looked like, man. I looked over Marcus and I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna be a long day. Thank God I had my earbuds and I just put my music on and I hit play. But yeah, I'm already kind of over it. And but we could discuss it obviously because you and I didn't really get a chance to discuss it, on online. So what did you think?
I figure first I'll say it this way. We'll look at it as if, in one light, as if it's what you see is what you get. And then we're going to look at it from another light that the possibility that it might not be what you see is not what you get. Now, I see Misha's just hopped in here. Hey, Misha. Um, for let's start off by talking let's start off with presuming that it was completely, organic situation. It was not created or fabricated in any kind of way. Um, I've actually had a bunch of opinions, and my opinion hasn't changed very much. I say if somebody is not in the Hollywood lens and they're not used to getting the kind of pushback that they get, I can understand them, reacting in that way. But when you've been in Hollywood as long as he has, it's kind of a thing that you should know better than. It's part of why they give you big bucks to deal with all of those different things. Say, oh, SM Dahman, hello, glad to have you in here. Um, I just felt like it was a situation which if he would have stood up and he was like, the whole keep my wife's name out your mouth, and he started off with that, and then it escalated to Chris Rock saying more inflammatory things, and then decided to go after him at that point. That might be a little bit different, but the fact that I looked at it as almost kind of like a sucker slap, he didn't. There was no warning of that coming, and for him to I keep saying this over and over because I believe Joe Rogan was correct. He says, if you can slap a man and turn your back to him, that's not somebody you should slap, because obviously that means that person is so much, or you at least see that person is so little of a threat, you can turn your back to them and completely be vulnerable. And so I think that weighed in a lot of my perspective on it. Yeah, Will and Jada have decided to be more public, put their business all over the damn place. So if you're putting your business all over the place, don't be surprised if somebody says something that you disagree with. Now, if he would have just said the comments and nothing would have happened, Chris Rock would be looking like the bad guy right now, because then all the stories would have came out later on. Did you hear what he said about Jada? Her condition, that was pretty messed up. And he would have gotten a lot of the flack, and especially with his documentary, what was it called, Bad Hair, when he's talking about black women having issues with their hair and wigs and weaves and all that stuff like that, which just went on throughout the community. I feel like a lot of white commentators, completely being extremely dismissive of it was not a good look. But that was, I gotta hide the chat. I'm gonna start getting distracted. But I felt like that was just kind of a bad look in general. Another thing, I felt that it sets a precedent that it's all right for everybody to just get up and start slapping everybody. I also made the point that if this was a white man, we all know he wouldn't have got his ass up there and slapped shit. That's obvious and clear to me. I don't care how mad he would have gotten in that moment. He would not have got up and decided, felt comfortable enough to walk up and slap a man on stage. So now that I've said that and got all that out of the way, and I feel like it reminds me of this one joke on Def Comedy Jam. This one comedian was like, man, women will get your ass into a fight. And he was talking about, yeah, me and my girl, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of, background to how I'm viewing this. He was saying that I was standing in line, man, and I just had to, I'm not gonna tell the whole joke the way he did it, but I'll kind of paraphrase it. 4 guys pull up behind him. They like, yo, kid, we ain't did in a long time. We ain't whooping motherfucker's ass in a long time. And so that's what he decided to do. And they start hitting his ass, fucking with him. And then eventually they start fucking with the girl. And she's like, you don't hear these motherfuckers talking about my ass? You ain't gonna do nothing? And so he turns around, pops one of them in the face, and takes off running. But he forgot to tell her to run. And they're like, yo, kid, we got your lady. He like, so what, motherfucker? Keep her ass. I mean, that's how I see it. You can't always be so reactionary all the time. You can't sit there and go with this hood mentality. A motherfucker better not do shit to me. Better not. You can't do that. Especially as a black man, there's rules for us, and there are different rules that go on for other people. And just because we get pissed off at something, don't mean that, well, what is it? Roman Polanski didn't get in trouble and for his stuff, his behavior outside of it. And the same thing with I can't remember the other celebrity, but Harvey Weinstein. It doesn't work that way. Do we not see the criminal justice system, how it's applied differently to different people? If we lived in a society where everything was cool and equal, then that'd be one thing. But we don't. So let's just keep that in mind and not flip out because they're not worrying about all these other people. Then there's the other aspect of it. Pfizer, and this is all just coincidental, so you guys can disregard this if you want, or ride with it. I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name. Let me see if I have the picture still in here. Chris, can you pull this? You pull this up on your Twitter. The name at Justin_Hart, and pull up his Twitter accounts. Because this gentleman is the one who, I guess I can just read his comment in the meantime. That way you guys can see who we're talking about. Said, rumor is Pfizer, who sponsored the Oscars, needed a big moment around alopecia because they have a drug coming to the market. So the slap was staged. If I had witnessed the absolute corruption of the pharma industry, if I hadn't witnessed the absolute corruption of the pharma industry in the past 2 years, I think this was ridiculous. So, what are your thoughts with all that I've said? Yeah, Wesley says, funny coincidence that a medication is announced for the disease and controversy. Yep, yes, this is the tweet in question that we're talking about. All right, let me put it back big again. It says, you see the tweet right there now, it's about 7,500 retweets, 1,087 quote tweets, and 27,000 likes. This is that tweet. So, Chris, what's some of your thoughts? Let's just say, if it is the latter, that this was staged for some kind of purposes with Pfizer, how do you think? What do you think about that theory?
Like all things that we've seen in our lifetimes, I I think a lot of it can be true. The Pfizer aspect of it, um, it's just a coincidence, right? Damn, we have a drug for this thing, and they're front row. He makes a joke about it, etc., etc. They tried to make it seem as if, um, uh, sorry, I'm just too many thoughts in my head. But let me get this one out. Um, the Pfizer part, there is it's too funny for you not to look at it more than once, right? Um, she has the issue. They have the drug coming out to help with said issue. Boom. Number two, the Oscars have been suffering in their world from low ratings for
Mm-hmm.
years. Not only just the low ratings, but no one even really talks about it the day after. This Oscars was produced fully by black folks. They're going to make themselves look stupid every single time in those venues as long as it gets views, clicks, etc. So what does this do? This makes everybody set on their calendar for those people who really watch that. Oh, I can't wait till next year. You know, um, as far as the slap itself, that whole shit looked funny money. Will Smith, a big dude, he hit little ass Chris Rock. Chris Rock should have moved. I I think that shit was staged. To be quite honest, I thought that from the first time I looked at it, the way he slapped him, where he slapped him, like his hand. If you're going there to defend your wife, his whole palm of his hand should have been across his entire facial. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever slapped somebody. I'm sure you have, Marcus. I know I have. Right? When when I've slapped somebody, I didn't just touch the bottom part of their jaw, and if you did, it was an accident. Um, so with that being said, it looked as if, even if you watch it again, like on slow motion, you watch it, it even looks like Chris is kind of preparing for it a little bit. He's kind of
Yes,
leaning
exactly.
forward. I'm not saying he's completely, bent over, but his teeth are like,
Gritted for
as
it to
he's
brace
coming
it.
over. Why are you looking like that? And it just, and the way that Will moved his hand. I mean, we've seen this dude act, and let's keep in mind they're actors. They're great at putting on performances. We should not forget that part. These are actors, and they act. They put on shows. What did this do? Generated millions and millions and millions and millions of hits on across social media, across all media, um, about the Oscars. We're not talking about anything else from that thing. I mean, I heard somebody say Beyonce performed. I didn't even know Beyonce performed. Like, most times when Beyonce performs, it's a moment, right? Like, oh shit, Beyonce performing. You want to see it, you want to watch it, etc., etc. Um, Nobody even talked about that. I can't. I cannot allow myself to get sucked into it to think that this was just about a man defending his wife. Dudes were making jokes at Will Smith for the longest time about his wife. The thing with August Alsina popped off when? What was that? Last year? Year before? And you just now? Again, to me, it's all theater. Is part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just sitting there, kind of trying to figure which one. It's like 50% of me thinks could have been just a moment of him breaking down and being a little deranged. But there's a lot of stuff over here that's, I think about most people who slap, for one. Put my hand up here as an example. You slap, a slap comes across, not down. That was one thing that I found weird about it, almost like more of a Hollywood fake slap. Another thing, if you see somebody coming at you that looks like an aggressive manner, I don't put my hands behind my back before. It's almost like a move that you do to prepare yourself physically for a slap. Three, the fact that he supposedly accepted his apology like super quick right after and everything's all cool. Four, the fact that Will Smith was not put out of there and received awards shortly after and did a standing ovation. And the last thing that makes me really question it is, in most states, if you hit somebody, it's not about them deciding to press charges on you. The police department themselves normally press charges, whether you want to or not. And
Correct. The state does. Marcus, if me and you was at the cookout and we go out front and we get into it and we start fighting and the police just happen to pass by, or maybe one of the neighbors calls the police, one of us is going to jail, even though both of us is like, no, we're not pressing charges. One of us is going to be arrested and go to jail.
more than likely both.
Both in that situation, probably both of us, right? And we're dealing with the Oscars. He don't want to press charges. I mean, it's just like, again, they on a whole other level than us. They just different. I can't let myself be too caught up in the bullshit. You know, I think they were just trying to hype up the Oscars. They wanted to get the mention of alopecia out there, and that's about it. And they're not even talking about anybody winning awards or none of that. So it's just kind of, like I said, I'm over it. I've heard every take from top to bottom, left to right. Oh, he was defending his wife. What would you do? What if it was a white man? What if it was the other way around?
I've been the one that's mostly brought up that take.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've heard it, not just from you. And, that wasn't a shot at you, Marcus. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? It's just, all week, you've been hearing that, Like, I went to the barbershop. I passed by the barbershop the other day after it happened. And, they said something similar. So it was just like, okay.
Yeah, I sent you one clip, a photo real quick, and I wanted you to put that up on the screen before we move on to the next topic. I just found that this hilarious. I mean, one of my friends, his shit is just crazy. Trish G says Hollywood is mostly a distraction. Yes, I mean, if we want to just go into distractions, I mean,
I was trying to put Thomas's comment up, but the thing kept moving too fast.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are distractions. I mean,
exactly, Steve. I'm with you.
What Steve say?
I'll be happy if I never hear about Will or any of this ever again, for sake.
Oh, you're gonna, every time somebody gets ready to run up on a stage, Will's name is gonna be brought up. That's a fact. News as far as on that is he's resigned from the committee for the Oscars. And I'm just wondering if a lawsuit is coming at some point, because he's well within his rights. This photo, which my friend put out, I felt it couldn't have been a better distraction of what I see, going on. You got that photo, Chris?
Oh yeah. I just got it.
Sent you.
I saw this one a bunch of times.
Let's put it up and talk about this one last part.
Yeah. Let me get it from my phone over to the computer. Yeah, I've seen that one mad times today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give it away. Why don't you guys all see this and get a good laugh of it first? Another thing
is funny. It is funny though.
Mm-hmm. It's hilarious. I mean, I heard a lot of people say, "Well, why don't you have this energy with a man that was fucking your wife?"
I know. I'm just like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But and then there's all kind of videos that have been coming up lately, resurfacing about that Will Smith, the one, and remember those old like ABC commercials, The More You Know? He had one of those, and he's talking about how, before you go putting your hands up, use your brain and all that, and don't throw down. And so you put out all these messages of that. Then there's videos of you trashing bald people. Yeah, I thought this one was great. Shout out to my boy Amos. Said this explains a lot. Masculine women attract feminine men. You notice his legs are crossed, her legs are wide open. Like they say, a picture says 1,000 words.